UFC 316 takes place this weekend. Sean O'Malley versus MERAB DVALISHVILI. We'll be giving our full card predictions and breakdowns for every single fight, starting with the early prelims, making it up to the main event.
And before we get started, we just want to give a big thanks to our friends up at Prime Hydration for sending us a nice supply of their drinks and sending us a nice fridge to go on the back of our videos. Hopefully we'll have something soon.
Yes, sir. And to start off the early prelims here, we move to Markel Medeiros taking on UFC newcomer Mark the Shark Schwiesky. Markel Medeiros is a year younger than him at 28. He's 10-1 overall and 2-0 in the UFC. Mark, on the other hand, is 8-0. However, he's very unproven. Most of his wins coming by submission, and his competition is genuinely terrible. His best win is someone who was 7-3 at the time, who's now 7-6. And I just think that Medeiros, he was originally supposed to fight Balaji Oki last week, and I had Balaji winning that fight by a pretty close decision. I think it would have been a 29-28. And Mark Schwiesky is a huge step down compared to Balaji Oki. Markel, on the other hand, he had a nasty KO on the Dana White Contender Series back in the day against Isa Isakov with a beautiful step-in knee on a timed takedown, which is what Schwiesky's going to be looking to take. And then he goes out and beats Landon Quinones in his debut in a very close decision win. But Landon had another really close fight with Nasrat Haqparast, so the guy's also solid. And then his most recent fight being over Austin Hubbard, where another close decision. However, Markel landed a dirty elbow, I believe, in the third round that cut him open, and ultimately the damage ended up winning him the decision. I just think that his boxing and the way that he is able to stuff takedowns, especially by threatening these big knees, is going to cause Mark a lot of problems in this fight. I don't really see a submission or anything happening for Mark. That'd be pretty crazy, and I don't think you're going to outpoint Medeiros. What are your takes on this fight?
I don't think it's crazy for him to get a submission, honestly. I mean, from the research I did, he's got Mark Schwiesky's got 6 finishes and 5 subs that are in the first round.
Yeah.
5 first-round subs. So it's no, I don't know who it's against, to go back on what you were saying about it's definitely a step down in competition versus who he's been fighting. But no, I don't really know how good the guys were that he's against, but he does have 5 first-round submissions. So I don't think his submission would be crazy. I probably will give that a little sprinkle, but I do think stuffing takedowns is going to be the biggest thing in this fight, 100%. Because like I was just saying, I think Mark's going to be going for a submission for a good amount of it. So I'm going to have to go with Markel stuffing those takedowns, beating him on the feet, maybe out grappling him to a point too, because I see Mark Schwiesky kind of gassing out late round 2, almost definitely round 3 in my opinion.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm going to have to go with Markel by decision.
Yeah, I got Markel by decision as well. There could be a late finish as well.
Yeah, late finish, that's what I was kind of leaning towards that, but I think I'll go decision, yeah.
We move on to the lightweight division. Kualin Salkiel taking on Yanal Ajmuz. I was going to say Anshul Jubli, but that's who Salkiel just fought and knocked out in 19 seconds. The Indian representative, terrible fighter overall.
For real.
Salkiel, though, this kid's good. He's 25 years old, 6 foot, tall for the division, long arms at a 75-inch reach. He's 8-1 overall and 1-0 in the UFC. He also won his Dana White Contender Series fight over Gage Young, where he was really heavy with the wrestling. He went 9 for 22 on takedowns and did ultimately outstrike him. It was a pretty boring fight, however. Kualin does have also some solid BJJ. He has a few submissions in his record as well. He also has a 100% takedown defense in the UFC, which is what Yanal Ajmuz, in his most recent fight over Trevor Peek, he had 9 takedowns as well. So if Yanal's not able to kind of mix in the grappling, I think that he's going to be in for a little bit of a hard night because, yeah, Ajmuz is powerful. We saw him knock out Sam Patterson in his debut, who's now went on a fucking tear at 170. But it's just I don't think he's got a 7-inch reach disadvantage and a 3-inch height disadvantage. It's going to be really hard for him to land that bomb. And I think that will only come if you're able to make the hands drop from getting these takedowns and stuff, which against someone with 100% takedown defense and young guy like Salkield, I think he's going to be able to keep the fight standing and maybe even implement his own grappling. I don't see a finish in this fight, especially for Salkield. I think that he'll end up taking a 29-28 decision win.
Which I think might be a hot take betting wise. Like, I haven't checked it at all, but I was going to say there's potential for hidden value in this fight, honestly. Like, coming off his last fight, obviously, like you said, it was in 19 seconds. Like,
yeah.
The over 1.5 and even the rounds, or the fight to start rounds 2 and 3, like, it's probably going to have some good value on it. So I wrote that down. Like, honestly, fight to start round 3, over 1.5 are probably valid bets for this fight, in my opinion. And I'm going to have to take Quillen by decision.
Yeah, I agree. We move on to, I believe, the featherweight division in Jekka Saraghi taking on Ju Sang Yu, making his UFC debut. Ju Sang Yu making his UFC debut. I love it. The guy's 8-0 overall. Again, similar to Mark Schwinsky. I think they have the exact same record as well. Hard to call. This guy's got 4 finishes out of his 8 fights. Yu looks to wrestle heavy, but in his most recent fight, he had a one and done walk-off KO. If he strikes with Jekka Saraghi, however, I don't think that he's going to be overly successful. People look at Jekka's record and kind of just think that he's kind of shit. Like, he's 1-2 in the UFC. He got submitted by Weston Wilson. He got TKO'd by Anshu Jubli in the road to UFC finale. But his win in the UFC is a round 1 flatline KO of Lucas Alexander, who isn't great, but he does have good striking in his own right. And he tried to stand with Jekka and he put him down. One thing I will say about Jekka is he's got 18 fights professionally. The guy does not go to decision. He either gets a finish or gets finished. And in this fight, I could see him either losing a submission or finding a KO. So
that's the exact same with me. That's so weird.
Yeah, I think that if Jekka wins, it'll be by a first round KO, and I think that if Ju Sang Yu wins, it'll probably be around 2 or 3 submission. Kind of just survives that first round, maybe gets a couple takedowns, wears him down throughout the fight, because Jekka's not going to be going. He'll probably quit eventually as well. I think the only reason he hasn't been cut is because he's the only Indonesian fighter in UFC history.
Damn.
So yeah, I originally had my official pick I have written down as Jekka Saraghi round 1 KO, but I'm going to use my brain here. I'm going to go Ju Sang Yu to win this fight by round 2 submission.
Round 2 submission? Yeah, I got Ju Sang Yu by submission in the second or third.
Yeah.
I think he's going to try. I think he's going to be sneaky on the ground. And yeah, like you said, I either think Jekka's going to gas out, or he's going to end up quitting late in the fight. So I think it's going to go to Ju Sang.
We move on to our first women's MMA fight of the card. We have Wang Kong taking on Ariana De Silva Lipski, or whatever you want to call her. Wang Kong, 7-1 overall, 2-1 in the UFC. She just fucked up Bruna Brazil, where she, I believe she tripled her insignificant strikes and was also outlanding her on the ground, grappling her like a motherfucker. Before then, obviously, she was fraud checked by Gabriela Fernandez, where she had Fernandez in all sorts of trouble, and then got overly confident and ends up taking a big punch and getting clubbed and subbed. And then obviously in her UFC debut, where she got all the hype, was with that 50-second KO. In hindsight, that win's actually fucking terrible. I forget who it was over, but it was an absolute can.
For real.
But Wang Kong's good, man. She's got very, very fast hands. She's got a kickboxing win over Valentina Shevchenko back in the day, like 2017 or something. And someone like Ariane Lipski, she's 6-7 overall. Just honestly a journeyman. She is ranked, however, on a 2-fight skid, so I think that this is the easiest fight. The UFC wants to see Wang Kong succeed. Who's the easiest fight in the top 15?
Yeah.
It's Ariane Lipski.
That's what the scenario is, exactly.
Yeah. However, Ariane Lipski, this is a step down in competition for her. She is in the top 15. She lost her last 2 fights to Jazz Tavicius by sub, and then before then she lost to Karini Silva. Her best win is Casey O'Neill back in the day by submission, which is actually pretty solid. But Ariane lacks takedown defense. She's going to be getting hit a lot. Her only chance to win is by a submission, which I don't think is going to happen in this fight. We haven't
or
seen
decision,
that in a long
obviously.
time.
I mean,
I don't see her winning a decision at all, to be honest. I just think that Wang Kong has every single path to victory here. and I actually could see her finding another finish. I will take Wang Kong to win, however, by decision, but there could be a world where she does actually land that dirty 1-2 and finds the button.
Yeah, so I start with my stuff with, I love Irene Lipsky. I think we know this. She's one of my 3 UFC wives, so I would love to see her do good. She has 0-2 in her last 2, but 3-2 in her last 5. So 2-fight losing streak. I don't think she's going to be up-and-coming prospect Wang Kong, who's fighting for the rankings. I think it's genuinely set up for Wang Kong to win this fight. And yeah, I am going to have to take Wang Kong by a 30-27 decision, probably with about 7 minutes of control time and probably doubling her strikes.
No.
So
yeah, the old Kong by decision is the pick.
Could be tough times, but I want to see Irene win, but it's just not her fight for sure. So.
And we move on to the welterweight division. We have Chaos Williams taking on Andreas Gustafsson.
I'm interested to see who
this fight is going to be amazing. I've been waiting to see Gustafsson make his fucking debut since he won his Dana White Contender Series fight. The guy's had 3 fights canceled this year. He was supposed to fight last week against Trevin Giles. Giles wasn't even his original opponent. I forget who it was, but they pulled out. Giles steps in on short notice. Then Giles pulls out a day before the fight because he fell on his head.
Is that actually what?
That's what happened.
I didn't know that. I knew he had some injury. I didn't know what it was though.
He fell on his head while cutting weight, and he couldn't fight.
No way, bro.
Yes.
Do you know what he was doing?
No.
Damn, what the hell?
No.
I haven't even heard that. What the hell?
Gustafsson had to pull out of a fight also because he fucking broke his neck before his first fight before his very first fight that was canceled. Chaos Williams, on the other hand, though, 15-4 overall. He's 6-3 in the UFC. In his last fight, he was subbed out cold by Gabriel Bonfim.
Exact Dicky prediction. I'll have you know. 2 seconds left in the round. Had that round 2 sub. That was nice. Made money.
Chaos does not need to worry about that because he was actually doing pretty solid on the ground against someone like Gabriel Bonfim until he got choked. He was defending pretty well, and someone like Bonfim is fucking phenomenal on the ground.
Yeah.
Andreas Gustafsson is like a smuggler. He's not he's not technical at all. He's not going to be putting Chaos Williams in those type of chokes. His losses, however, Chaos Williams are very solid. Like I said, to Bonfim, he lost by split decision to Michelle Pereira in 2020. And before then, another split decision to Randy Brown. Most of his UFC
split to Randy Brown.
Yeah.
Damn, I didn't know that. Okay.
Most of his UFC wins are by brutal knockout. He knocked out Abdul Razak Al Hassan in 30 seconds. He knocked out Carlston Harris in a minute. And I think he's gonna sleep Andreas Gustafsson cold. Gustafsson from range is one of the worst fighters in the promotion. He does not know how to fight outside of a ruler's width. He's very good in the clinch. He gets really dirty. We saw that in his Dana White Contender Series fight where he just got all up in the guy's face. He ended up finishing with knees and elbows on the cage. But again, he was getting pinged up with big shots by the guy's name I think was Pat Piplick, Canadian guy, 36 years old.
Damn it. Oh,
36
I actually
years old.
remember you saying that now because I remember watching his video on how Dana found him to go to the UFC or go to Dana White's Contender Series.
Yeah, 36 years old that guy
I did forget it was him too.
And it was late in the second round, and Gustafsson himself isn't a young guy. The guy's 34.
Yeah.
And when you dive back into his topology, he had a really close fight. I think his name was Tony Lampinen. The guy was 8-4, but both guys just fucking knocking each other down left, right, and center. I think he's gonna get one and done KO'd, maybe seizing on the ground. Chaos Williams round 1 KO is the official pick. Early.
It's actually kind of crazy in my opinion a little bit.
I don't know.
But
that's what I genuinely have, round 1 KO.
But yeah, so I just put down Gustafsson. He's got a little bit of hype with him. He's coming off his Dana White Contender Series. Obviously, he hit him with about 3 knees and a couple elbows before putting him down.
Yeah.
And yeah, like you said, it was in the clinch. I think I do agree with that. He does his best work when he's up in your face, and that's pretty much all he can really do to push the pace is stay on you like that and get nice and close to you. Dana White actually said it himself. I just saw this clip today while I was at work that he had no idea what was going on with the game plan of Gustafsson in that fight. I did not get to see the fight. I looked it up on Fight Pass and I couldn't play it for some reason, so didn't get to watch the fight, like watch it back and actually go through what was going on. But saw the finish, saw Dana call him to get his contract, and he actually said that he was not happy with his game plan and he did not like it at all. But sometimes game plans don't judge the outcome of the fight, and then he gave him a contract, because how can you say no to a guy that gets a KO with 3 knees and a couple elbows when you're fighting for a contract type thing. So I think he's a little overhyped, honestly, for the hype that I've been seeing on Instagram and stuff like that. I think Chaos is going to come in here and he's going to just outmatch him and everything. He's going to keep his range away. And yeah, he's probably going to pelt him with big shots, because if Gustafsson can't get in his face, then I don't really know what he's going to do. So I'm not taking him by round 1 KO, but I am going to take Chaos by decision, and I think it could be a 30-27.
We move on to the heavyweight division. Sergey the Polar Bear Spivak takes on Waldo Cortez Acosta, the Salsa boy. First thing I want to say is Sergey Spivak is 3 years younger than Waldo Cortez. The guy's only 30. 8-5 in the UFC compared to Waldo's 6-1. However, the competition is levels apart. Spivak 1-2 in his last 3 fights, being TKO'd in both of those losses by Jailton Almeida and Sorrel Gan. His win in there was, who was it? Marcin Tybura?
Yeah.
Yeah, he picked up that round 1 rolling armbar over Marcin Tybura. Yeah. He's a very solid grappler with an 8-0 sub ratio overall, and most of his losses are to the best of the best. He has KO loss back in the day to Tom Aspinall. Like I said, Jailton and Tom. I think Walt Harris might have got him, but Walt Harris was also on steroids. The question is, in this fight, in my opinion, do you think Sergey Spivak will get the takedowns or not? Because we've never really seen Waldo on his back, and I don't really care. I don't think that he's going to be good at all on his back, and I think that the fight is going to get there. People forget, man, Sergey Spivak versus Derek Lewis. The question was, do you think Sergey's going to get the takedown? He got the takedown within 10 seconds and submitted him.
And that was wraps.
And that was it. I think that we can't be sleeping on Sergey here. He did the same thing. So, his other loss is to Marcin Tybura, way back in the day by decision. They do the rematch. The question again is Sergey Spivak going to get the takedown? Get the fuck out of my face, fly. Is Sergey Spivak going to get the takedown? Yeah, he did. And he subbed him in the first round. He was actually the first person. I'm a huge Jailton Almeida fan. He was the first person to take down Jailton Almeida and put Jailton on his back for about 5 seconds. But again, Waldo ain't doing Jailton Almeida BJJ get-ups. When this fight's on the feet, I think that it could be a little bit shaky. I think that Waldo's obviously the better striker. But Sergey in his own right has some power, and again, the guy's pretty smart. I think that he's just going to get these takedowns. And I have another round 1 finish. I have Sergey Spivak by round 1 armbar. Because Waldo doesn't have a neck. That's another fun fact.
Damn, we didn't even go through this together, to hear each other's picks.
No.
So, and we're actually you're just spitting everything I've written down for these fights. So yeah, to make it kind of quick, I'm gonna take Sergey round 1/2 sub. I think it happens in the first half of the fight.
Yeah.
Again, like you just said, literally, I think he's gonna get the takedowns, and I think he's gonna be able to control him and keep him down. And this is coming from the most unbiased perspective it can be, because I genuinely don't like Sergey Spivak really at all.
No, neither do
I don't know why. I just don't like him at all. He happens to annoy me a lot. I can definitely appreciate Waldo Cortez Acosta for killing the hype train of Robelis de Spain. I think that's like pretty cool, honestly.
Facts.
I was pretty high on Robelis when he came to the UFC, as I think we both were. He was absolutely
I don't know
insane.
who wasn't,
yeah, exactly.
Honest.
3 KOs in 40 seconds combined or something like that?
No. It was like...
Or 20 or something
it was like
ridiculous.
14 seconds. It was like 3, 4, and 6 or something stupid.
So yeah, being able to shut down that in a 3-round fight is absolutely insane. And so yeah, I think we have to give him props for that. But I am gonna take Sergey Spivak by round 1/2 sub.
Yeah.
And I think I'm gonna put the bank on it too.
And if you can remember his last win over Ryan Spann, he found the KO.
See,
both guys were looking ridiculous.
Exactly. I put that down. I was like, yeah, he knocked out Ryan Spann. Like, good job, bro. Take your cookies, take your flowers. But
debuting Ryan Spann.
Who can't do that? Like, who can't do that in that division? Like, honestly, like, I love Ryan Spann. I always want him to be good. I always want to get behind him and bet on him every single time he fights. But no, exactly. He's just not good. And it's not a hard thing to do to knock him out. So yeah.
Moving on to the light heavyweights.
Yes, sir.
We have Azamat Murzakanov taking on Brenison Ribeiro.
I'm interested to see who you have for this, too, actually.
You want me to start off?
Yeah.
Okay. Murzakanov, he's older, significantly older in this fight. 8 years to be exact. He's 36 years old compared to Ribeiro's 28. Ribeiro stepping in on short notice. Not too short, about 2 or 3 weeks. Murzakanov was originally supposed to fight Johnny Walker. Very glad that fight didn't happen because Murzakanov would have killed Johnny. You see Murzakanov as he's the shortest light heavyweight in the UFC. He's 5'10", 72-inch reach. Brenson Ribeiro 6'3", 81-inch reach. You're gonna think, oh, the younger guy, huge. He's got every single physical. Just wait till this fight starts, man. Azamat Murzakanov is 14-0, 4-0 in the UFC. The age hasn't shown. His footwork is second to none. It's absolutely unbelievable. And this guy, if he wasn't 36 years old, we're talking about a really serious problem in the light heavyweights. And I still think that he's going to be a very big problem for the light heavyweights until he loses probably to the really top of the division.
Yeah. Once he gets to the top, that's when it'll start getting hard for him. I agree with that. His
footwork here in this fight, however, is just going to win him this fight. I think that he wins this fight by round 2 knockout. Brenson Ribeiro's lost, he's 2-2 in the UFC. His only wins are by split decision to Kyle Machado, who's cut from the UFC. He's a terrible fighter. And in his last fight, he submitted DR Nurgajai with I think it was a round 2 Kimura. And Brenson was a huge underdog in that fight. And the only reason he got that submission was because he got taken down. And as he got taken down, he threatened the Kimura. And Dayar Nurgajai did not have a brain. Like, if you're getting Kimura threat, it's either you let go of the takedown and you get reversed, or you just get Kimura'd and submitted. He just got submitted. So that was his last win. He has a TKO loss to Zhang Minyang where he was brutally flatlined. And then his other loss is to Magomed Gajiasulov where he was grinded out a decision, and Gajiasulov's not even in the promotion anymore. There's not really much to break down on this fight. It's just going to be a one-way beat-down masterclass for Azamat Murzakanov to go to 15-0. I think that he guaranteed puts him out in this... Not guaranteed, but I think he puts him out in this fight.
Yeah, that's valid. I think the odds definitely matter. I think the odds are going to play their role. Right now, I'm looking at a minus 625 for Azamat to a plus 455 for Brenson Ribeiro. I think that's going to play into part here 100% or play into effect, and there's not much betting value on this fight, but it is the ranked number 12 Azamat versus Ribeiro, who's unranked, looking for that way into the top 15. Yeah. And I don't think he's going to get it. I think Azamat, I think he's going to show why he's a minus 625 favorite, and I'm taking Azamat round 2-3 KO.
I was looking at the odds for that fight, the method of victories. Guess what his KO prop is? Because I've never seen one this bad.
Minus 250.
Minus 250.
No way.
Yeah.
Really?
Yep.
Damn.
Minus 250.
Damn, bro. Like, I didn't want it to be that. Like, that's bro, what the
awful.
fuck?
That's a money line.
I might sprinkle him by sub, honestly. Just why not? Like, just throw $1 on it. Like, but yeah, I actually did write down. If I'm going by my notes, I did write down Azamat round 2-3 KO or 29-28 decision. So Brenson Ribeiro could have a sick round 1. He could have a sick round 1 before he gasses the fuck out.
Catch old man sleeping.
Yeah, I mean, who knows? But
we move on to the flyweights. Bruno Silva taking on Josh Van. 12-year age gap in this one. Bruno Silva, 35 years old compared to Joshua Van, 23. Another thing that's crazy is these guys have had the same amount of fights in the UFC. Josh Van has already had 7 fights in the UFC. 6-1 overall compared to Bruno Silva.
He already is good.
He's insane. Compared to Bruno Silva's 4-3. Bruno Silva's now on a 2-fight losing streak, I believe. and I genuinely question how he's still ranked. Can you go to his wins? I believe his best win is Cody Durden. And before then, I think he might have put out JP Buys, maybe Tyson Nam. Who else is in there? JP Buys.
Well, you're right about all that.
Like, okay, so JP Buys went 0-4 in the promotion.
So yeah, his best win's Cody Durden.
Yeah, to be fair, that was an impressive TKO win. Oh no, he's just on a 1-5 losing streak.
Yeah, to Manel Cop.
Where he got literally fucked by Manel Cop.
Which is tough comp, so.
Yeah, it is. Josh Van, however, is on a 3-fight winning streak since losing to Energy by KO. He's had amazing fights, however, he's winning all of them by decision, beating Edgar Chairez, Cody Durden, and Ray Tasuria. These guys are tough to finish. It is impressive that Bruno Silva got Cody Durden out of there. I think that Bruno definitely has more power, and Van actually is kind of chinny. Slightly chinny.
Respectfully, Energy knocked you out. Yeah, it was a gross uppercut, sure, but Energy knocked you out.
Yeah. Strike for strike, I think that Van is going to significantly out-volume him. We saw Manel Cop completely... I'm not saying that Josh Van is Manel Cop right now, but the way that they fight is very high volume. Manel obviously has more power to him, but Bruno Silva was fatiguing like crazy. Coming off a TKO loss at 35 years old versus surging prospect trying to break into that top 15. Or he already is. He keeps on floating in and out though.
This is a passing in the torch type fight. Because he broke the top 15. Now this is slowly makes his way up.
Yeah.
12-year age gap is insane, bro.
It is.
Damn, bro.
Like, I think that there's maybe around 1 KO for Bruno Silva if he's just lucky.
State.
No, it's not even going to be a flow state. It's just going to be a bop, and it puts out Van.
Plus 470 by KO. Like I'm saying, that's his money line. I'm saying A plus 470 with that KO would be crazy odds for sure. But not hitting.
I think that Joshua Van probably takes this fight by decision, potentially around 3 KO as well.
Bro, not even tailing, but like tailing, same. I have either Josh Van round 3 finish or Josh Van 29-28, 30-27 decision.
Yeah. We move on to the welterweight division. It's key to note that this fight is at welterweight. Kevin Holland did put a little bit of effort in to make the weight. He's taking on Vicente Luque, the silent assassin here. 1 year age gap between the two. Luque has the 1 year being 33 compared to Holland's 32. Luque is 16-6 in the UFC compared to Holland's 14-10. Luque in his last fight, we all thought that he was kind of done. You know, he had that brain bleed aneurysm after his first ever TKO loss to Jeff Neal 3 years ago. And then he was put out by Joaquin Buckley 2 fights ago, where he just kind of dropped to his back in the second round and accepted bottom position and just got teed off on. It was like, what the fuck is he doing?
Yeah, it was one of those, it looked like he wasn't even trying.
It was like he didn't want to be there at all.
Yeah.
However, in his last fight, he club and sub Stemba Garimbo out cold in 50 seconds. With an anaconda choke. Vicente Luque has 5 anaconda chokes in the UFC. I find that so impressive. /stars chokes. Kevin Holland, on the other hand, he's 2-3 in his last 5, beating Gunnar Nelson, who is on a 2-year layoff by decision. Before then, he lost to RDR by round 1 sub and Dolidze by a round 1 injury. That can be argued.
That was a decision, right? Gunnar.
Yeah. Before then, he gets dropped really bad by Michael Alexachuk, but somehow gets the arm and fucking snaps that shit in half.
Low-key beautiful.
However, I can't take Kevin Holland at the odds that he's at. Like, I'm never going to base a fight really off of the odds, but when it comes to having Kevin Holland at like a -250 and above, I can't do it. Against someone like Vicente Luque, no shot. Who showed me that he is still got a little bit of fight left in him. When it comes skill for skill, when it comes level of competition, Vicente Luque. The guy's got a knockout over Bilal Muhammad. He's finished half the fucking division. I think he has 13 of his 16 wins or 14 of his 16 wins in the UFC are all by finish. Completely destroyed Tyron Woodley. Like, good wins on the guy. Holland is not dialed in this fight. He's already walked out of 2 press conferences in the last 2 days, gives up because someone asked him about how his relationship is with Rampage Jackson. That's enough to send him off the cliff.
Someone asked him that?
He goes, man, I'm not dealing with this question, and just stands up. He goes, I'm leaving, and just leaves. And he's posting all this shit on his story.
Oh God,
the 45 70s in the comments every single second. I got Vicente Luque winning this fight by round 2 submission. Yeah.
Kevin Holland is one of my favorite fighters. You know this. Yeah. Some of you might know this. But yeah, this is going to be a tough day at the office probably. I'm not too fired up for this one. I didn't even want to look into it that much because I can already assume what's going to happen. And I think this fight either ends in a submission via either guy. I think the fight ends in a submission, or Luque is going to take it by decision, and it's going to be a beatdown and just a ground control, ground and pound. Fight arguably could have been stopped twice type moment. So
I actually don't think this fight goes to decision.
No, I can low-key see it if they just like, bro. Holland's like tough to submit. Like fuck Rainer Ritter. I don't want to hear shit, but like he's kind of tough to submit to a point, like a little bit. Like I don't know.
No, he's
just kind of good.
He's hard to submit, definitely. I see a Holland KO.
Holland KO?
Yeah.
See, I think Holland's not dialed enough to be doing that.
That snappy 1-2 that KO'd Buckley way back in the day is definitely going to be live against Vicente Luque.
Didn't he drop Gunner with it too? That fight arguably could have been stopped. No?
At the end of the first round.
Yeah.
Depending on how Vicente's recovered and how he's feeling and stuff that's really what this fight comes down to. If we get a good version of Vicente Luque, he's going to beat the brakes off of Kevin Holland.
Yeah, definitely. Like he's defending his ranking too. Like it's just number 14 ranked. Well, Holland was at middleweight, no?
His last fight was at 170.
Was it? Okay. Never mind. So
he's all over the place though.
Yeah, he's always been all over the place, but I thought his last one was at 180 or 185 for a sec. But I mean, yeah, Luque is defending his ranking. I don't think he's ready to go out to Kevin Holland, who is just going to take the ranking and do absolutely nothing with it and not trying to move up. He's just going to go win, loss. And I think he's coming off a win, so he's probably going to lose. And that fucking hurts to say. I want to see him win. I want to see him put in effort and use his gifted abilities and be good, but it's just so annoing, bro. Can't believe in him.
-270. Like,
yeah, minus 270 Kevin
Holland. Fuck out of
like,
here.
Respectfully, I can't even betting on you. I'm not even picking in this fight, so there's no way I'm betting on you for that.
Vicente Luque by submission, Darce choke, round 2 to be exact.
Vicente Luque by rear naked with a minute left in the second round, or 29-28 decision. Kevin Holland takes round 1 and gets taken down in the second and third and gets beat down after that. That sucks, bro.
Moving on to the bantamweights. In one of the most anticipated fights of the card, we have Patchy No Love Mix taking on Mario Bautista.
No love?
No love. We have another bantamweight No Love joining the crew. Patchy Mix, 20-1 overall, 3-time Bellator bantamweight champion. Unreal resume from knocking out Raytheon Stotts in a minute with a knee, to submitting Magomedov and then beating him in the rematch, to submitting Sergio Pettis, to beating Kyoji Horiguchi, former UFC title challenger. His only loss was to Demetrius Johnson in the UFC. The guy's phenomenal. He is a little stupid fact is he's the husband of Tatiana Suarez. Mario Bautista's in for a tricky one here. This isn't one of those Patricio Pitbull coming into the UFC with all these accolades, and he's 37 years old. Patchy Mix is 31 years old. Same age as Mario, prime age, ready to make a splash into the UFC, into the division, because he's already talking about winning this fight. He's fighting for the belt. He has a win over, he knocked out a guy in a minute who has the win over MERAB. Like, he's talking all this shit, and you have a case. You already when you're a 3-time Bellator champion, you come out here, you beat one of the most disliked UFC fighters in Mario Bautista because of the way that he beat Jose Aldo in his last fight. You're gonna get lots of respect, especially if you can find a submission, which is what he is going to be hunting for, and he will have the significant advantage on the ground. When it comes to the feet, I think this actually is a pretty interesting fight. I think that Mario has the better technical 1-2 leg kick type of thing. Mix has a really fast hook kick. He's also got really solid knees and a good elbow. He's one of those Muay Thai kind of strikers. He originally wasn't very good on the feet, but he's starting to put it together a lot more and mixing in his MMA a lot better. I originally had Mario Bautista winning this fight by decision. I thought that he was going to do the same type of thing that he did to Jose Aldo. But it wasn't too long ago where Mario Bautista, it wasn't his debut, but when he fought, I think it was in his debut, where he fought Corey Sandhagen, and Corey was just doing his thing on the ground, knocking him down and doing his thing on the ground. I think Patchy Mix wins this fight by round 2, a rear naked choke. I think he gets to the back and it's a wrap, to be honest.
Okay, valid. This isn't really a mental one. It's almost like a mainly feeling type thing. I feel like Patchy's going to come in here and starch him with a knockout in the first or second round.
That'd be fun.
That would be absolutely insane, and I kind of have a feeling that it's going to happen. I think Mario Bautista is going to be dropped in this fight, and I think that's going to be the downfall of the fight. If I have to say specifically how it's going to play out, he's either going to drop him and jump on him and get overhyped and just beat the shit out of him, ground and pound. Ref comes in, stops it, or he drops him and he's dazed with his hands like this on the ground. And he jumps on him and subs him in the next 30 seconds. So can't really pin it to a round. Like, I didn't look into it a crazy amount because I know a good amount about both of them, so I didn't really need to. But if I had to say a round, I feel like it could honestly come in round 1 or round 2. Yeah, honestly, I feel like it could be round 1 though. Round 1 KO. I'll be putting a little sprinkle on that.
Mixed by KO is over 1,000.
Over 1,000?
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah.
Potential prop of the night. That would be crazy, bro.
That would be nuts. I'm gonna take mixed by sub just because the guy has a submission win over Magomedov. And it was unbelievable. He gets taken down by this Dagestani beast who was 22-1 at the time, whose only loss was to Pyotr Yan. And Patchy just locks in the dirtiest guillotine, works him into the back, and just I think it's a wrap the second that this fight, the second that Mix gets onto the back, it's probably over. But I can see him landing a step-in knee, finding a chin. Mix by finish. We move on to the middleweight division. No, the welterweight division, right?
It's middleweight.
Middleweight.
You had it right.
I'm sorry. To be fair, Kelvin fucking goes up and down, up and down.
Yeah.
Kelvin Gastelum taking on Joe Pike for a rescheduled fight that was supposed to take place at UFC Mexico. Joe Pfeiffer had to pull out from that fight 2 days before or something because of food poisoning, and he swears that he will never go back to Mexico.
Which a lot of people actually said from that card.
Yeah.
You know, DC and Rogan were both talking about it. Joe Rogan was sick after that.
Gastelum is 13-9 in the UFC. Pfeiffer 4-1, obviously coming off. What was Joe Pfeiffer's last fight? Why am I blanking on that? He finished someone. Was it Marc-Andre Barrio? Yeah. So he killed Marc-Andre Barrio in his last fight. Brutal round 1 finish. Before then, however, was fraud checked by Jack Hermanson. He lost 3 rounds to 2 in his first main event in the UFC. It's a fraud check, but again, he won the first 2 rounds and then just gassed out in his first 5-round fight.
Yeah.
Good learning experience. Kelvin Gastelum coming in here, 34 years old now. He's never been finished by KO, however. He's faced the prime Jared Cannoniers, the prime Israel Adesanyas. Didn't get finished. However, he was dropped 4 or 5 times by Adesanya. He's
damn near subbed at the end of that fight, if you know, you know.
Yeah. He missed weight. He missed weight a couple fights ago against Dana Rodriguez by 10 pounds, forced the fight to go up to 185. And we had Kelvin at 170 for a couple fights. You know, he put on that really good fight over Chris Curtis, I believe. And it was like, oh shit, we have a hungry Kelvin making his way back down to 170, putting up good performances. He's clearly taking his dieting and his career a bit more seriously. However, that's not the case anymore. We're back up to 185. We're back to looking like an absolute fucking fridge.
Back to looking like a fucking unit prime fridge,
yeah,
bro.
like genuinely. And I don't think that this fight's going to go very well for him. I look at it and I say, how is Kelvin going to win? How is he going to win? He's 5'9" compared to Pyfer's 6'2". He's got a 4-inch reach disadvantage as well.
That goes against what you were saying about Ozma and Branson Ribeiro.
That's a complete. It's a different.
I know it's
a different matchup.
Someone watching that might say, "Oh, it goes against what you're saying."
No, styles make fights.
True.
Because they have a similar-ish skill set, except Gastelum is just expired now.
Yeah.
I think Pyfer is gonna be the first person to knock out Kelvin Gastelum. However, I wouldn't be surprised if he finds an arm triangle. We have seen Kelvin submitted before. I think one of them was by Jack Hermanson by heel hook way back in the day. But when it comes to the ground, like Kelvin is just going to be so much smaller. He's going to be just the wet blanket of Joe Pyfer is going to be, I think, way too much if it even goes to the ground. And when it comes to the feet, I don't think at Kelvin's age anymore he's going to be taking the same shots that he used to.
Probably not. I will say, when this fight was in Mexico, if you remember, I did have a sleeper pick, Gastelum in Mexico.
I remember that.
I was taking the underdog in this fight. Will say, naturally, I've completely switched up. I think Pyfer's either going to KO him in the late second round or third round, or is he going to beat him 29? I don't even, like, honestly, maybe a 30-27 decision. Like, I could probably see that. Maybe 30-27, 30-27, 29-28 for being exact. Maybe one judge gives Gastelum a round. I think it's going to be a beat down. I feel like it's another passing of the torch moment to a point. And yeah, I think it's Pyfer's time. I think it's his fight to win for sure. And I think he's going to get it done now.
Yeah, I got Pyfer inside the distance. Round 1 KO or round 2 submission.
Next fight gets interesting.
Slightly.
Some are sleeping heavy. I'll start it off by saying that.
Co-main event, we move on to women's MMA. We have Juliana Pena taking on Kayla Harrison. By the end of when I'm done talking, I don't know whose name I'm going to end up saying because there's so many points that I have to actually say about this fight. It's actually, I'm kind of looking forward to it for some reason.
I actually am looking forward. Honestly, both the chick fights on this card, I am looking forward to. I haven't had that in a very long time, so it's exciting.
Juliana Pena, 8-3 in the UFC. Kayla Harrison, 2-0 in the UFC. First thing I'm going to say, Kayla Harrison is 18-1 overall. Her only loss comes to Larissa Pacheco in a 5-round decision where Kayla started the fight off extremely strong, got the takedowns, threatened a couple submissions, and then just throughout those later rounds couldn't find the takedown, ended up getting taken down, getting put in a couple rear naked choke attempts, finished the fight on bottom position, lost the fight by decision. You know what those opening odds were? Minus 1,800 for Kayla Harrison to plus 900 for Larissa Pacheco. This is kind of the same thing in a way. There is a world where Kayla comes in there hot and doesn't get her out. What happened with Juliana Pena versus Amanda Nunes? People forget, man. Round 4 submission.
People forget, man.
Yeah, you can say that Amanda Nunes just had a kid. At the end of the day, that's a win over Amanda Nunes. Sure, she got the shit kicked out of her in the rematch. 1-1. It's 1-1.
Yeah.
And you finished Amanda Nunes. You literally choked her out.
I do think her having a kid matters.
Oh, it does. Big time.
I know you know that too,
Big time.
because you say that point all the time.
Yeah.
I do think that matters a lot in
It
that
does.
scenario. But
Kayla Harrison, however, I don't think is as good as a lot of people rate her to be. In her last win, it was a decision win over Ketlin Vieira, who's just okay. She's okay. It was a boring decision win. And before then, subbed 42-year-old Holly Holm in the second round. there is a world where the judo and the wrestling of Kayla Harrison and just the physical presence of her is too much for Juliana, and she ends up getting to the back, landing big ground and pounds. I don't think that she'll find the sub. I think that it's going to be a ground and pound, if anything, just some big elbows. Maybe she goes to a back mount and locks in a rear naked choke, but I want Juliana Pena to win this fight. I really do see the path to victory, and I think that it's actually going to be by finish in rounds 4 or 5 for Juliana Pena. But I'm going to take Kayla Harrison to win this fight by round 2 TKO.
Really?
Yeah, that might be...
That's so random in my opinion.
Well, it's just like, I think that Kayla's her best in the early rounds.
Who's Pena even been finished by? Knockout-wise?
Knockout-wise? I don't know if she's ever been knocked out. I know that she was... I'll check it. I know that she was submitted by Valentina Shevchenko.
I think this is going to come down to a cardio battle. It's kind of like we were saying. I think this is one of the 2 only fights that we've actually talked about, like, before starting this. I think it's going to come down to cardio, 100%. I think
Juliana Pena all day.
Pardon?
That's Juliana Pena all day.
Did you see how many times she's been
She's
K'd?
never been K'd in the UFC.
What about subbed?
2 times out of 3 losses.
She's been subbed twice.
Yeah, by Jermaine Durandamy too, who's a Dutch kickboxer.
Yeah, so I'm lucky gonna have to disagree with you on that. I don't think Kayla knocks Pena out.
It's not going to be a knockout. It's just going to be a ground and pound.
Just a ground and pound,
yeah.
stoppage kind of thing.
Yeah.
I don't even know if I see that personally. I'm pretty sold on Pena now. Actually, I'm willing to put about. I'm not gonna say how much. I'm willing to put a decent amount of money on that.
Well,
plus 525 money line.
The odds are ridiculous.
Dude, she's an underdog in every single fight that she has.
Yeah.
Like, except for I think 1, like in the past 7 or 6 or something like that. Like, respectfully, people are sleeping. Like 5-round fight. Give me Juliana Pena. I don't really know what else to say. I think it's gonna be very close with the strikes. Pena can eat them up like a motherfucker, bro. Like, she stood in front of Nunes for 2 fights straight. So, well, I mean,
stood up. She did get knocked down 4 times.
Yeah.
But that's Amanda Nunes, and Kayla Harrison does not have that on the field.
Exactly. That's what I was gonna say earlier when we were talking about Nunes. Is respectfully, we cannot be talking about Amanda Nunes in this scenario unless you're gonna say that Pena beat her, because Nunes is just up there for GOAT status, and Kayla Harrison is gonna get cardio. Yeah, exactly.
Nunes is the girl.
And Kayla Harrison is just gonna get cardio fraud checked, in my opinion. Like, I don't know, like, not even fraud checked to a point. Like, I obviously think she's very good, but I think it's gonna be a big upset, probably the upset of the night. And I don't think
of the year.
Yeah, honestly, like, odds wise. Yeah, I don't think Kayla Harrison's gonna take the belt from Juliana Pena. Like, call it a hot take, whatever. Like, I'm decently confident in that, and I feel like I have a decent amount of knowledge to back that up. I have a good feeling that Juliana Pena is gonna come in here and keep her belt. It's not gonna be an and new for the first fight. Underline.
And the winner of this fight's gonna be fighting Amanda Nunes. Nunes is coming out of retirement.
That's stupid in my opinion. She's probably gonna win too.
Oh, she shits on both these girls. It really depends on it.
Like, she's got her money, like, low key.
It really depends on how if Kayla can go out there, get the takedown, and just finish her, then we're talking a little bit different.
Okay, yeah. Against Nunes, is that what you're saying?
Against Pena. If Kayla goes, and then, versus
No, I'm
Nunes.
saying, yeah. Okay,
then it's a little bit, okay, damn. But... And that's I'm gonna just kind of go with, I'm gonna roll with recency bias here. Juliana Pena, her last fight was over Raquel Pennington. She didn't win that fight. She got head kick dropped in the 4th round. Bad. And I thought she really clearly lost that fight 4 rounds to 1.
I fuck with Pennington too.
So do I. Rocky Pennington.
She's kind of tough. She's sick too.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm just gonna I actually forgot about that last fight for Pena against Pennington.
I kind of genuinely forgot about that too. It's not the best look ever, but
I'm still gonna keep my pick with Kayla round 2 TKO.
Yeah, valid.
I do see the Pena pick all day though. Genuinely, I will be obviously betting on Juliana Pena because
Shannon's probably tweaking about this fight. Sean O'Malley and MERAB.
Yeah. Moving on to our main event, we have bantamweight champion MERAB the Machine DVALISHVILI taking on Sugar Sean O'Malley. Merab, 12-2 in the UFC. He's on a 12-fight winning streak. Beat Umar in his last fight to retain the belt in a very impressive comeback win where he lost the first 2 rounds and then demoralized him from 3, 4, and 5, emoting on him, picking him up. Same thing that he was doing to Sean O'Malley in their first fight. The guy's cardio is just, like, everyone says it, but I'm going to say it too. It's, like, genuinely fucked. It's so...
Merab's,
it's
it
so
doesn't even make
physically
sense.
insane. And the guy is probably the greatest bantamweight of all time. His wins are, if I can remember them all, we got Marlon Moraes, Henry Cejudo, Piotr Jan, Sean O'Malley, Jose Aldo, Umar Nurmagomedov, potentially Sean O'Malley for the second time. Like, fuck. The guy's got some wins on him, man.
Yeah.
Amazing resume already, like I said. However, Sean is much more motivated than ever coming into this fight. He's named off a few things that he's stopping doing. Jay and the Peen, smoking, drinking, social media.
He's dialed in.
He's not doing
for
any
real
of that
dialed.
shit.
Even his interviews, like, did you see any of his interviews that he was doing? I think he did one with Ariel Helwani. Had a couple other, like, online FaceTime videos.
I know I saw a FaceTime video of some sort.
Dude, he's dialed.
Yeah.
All of his responses, he's sitting there just looking at the camera. He's like, I don't care about that, blah blah. Like, he's dialed, man. It's kind of a different feeling that I'm getting from him. But when I say that, I have to say I haven't even picked a winner for this fight. I really, like, honestly can't yet, like, to a point, like, because I was so sold on Sean knocking him out last time. I was so sold on it. I really was. I thought he was going to do it. I thought I had everything calculated down to a science, and I could exactly see how he was going to knock him out, and saw Merab doing good for a while, and Sean was going to figure him out, start stuffing takedowns and knock him out. But I think what's going to happen in this fight is it's going to be a letdown for a lot of Sean O'Malley fans. I think Merab's going to show his dominance, and man, like, I don't want to see this happen at all, but I think he's going to end up landing like 8 or 9 takedowns in this fight, and it's just going to be one of those again. And you know what? Maybe Sean's going to be able to get back up again. Most of the time, honestly. Maybe he's been training to stuff his takedowns, which I hope he has, because he's going to need to. But
No, he definitely has.
But we're talking Merab, bro. Like, I could genuinely see this fight being a Piotr Jan and Merab type fight. Like, where it is just the worst. Yeah, my bad to bring you flashbacks there, but where it is just one of the worst things we've ever watched, but Merab just shows, like, genuinely how good he is, as much as it sucks to say. So I don't know. Like, I think Merab's gonna retain his belt, but I'm almost to a point. I was with you on Sean O'Malley round 2 KO.
I have some good points to mention for this one, because I don't think it's going to be as one-way traffic as it seems. Sean O'Malley, have you heard his owl story?
His what?
First of all, have you heard his owl story?
No.
I'll mention that first. Huh? Yeah. I'll mention this owl story first that he was talking to the Nelk boys about. Obviously, he has the owl on his chest, his tattoo.
Is it an owl?
It's an owl.
Okay, I see the face. Kind of looks like a fucking butterfly, but I see what you're saying. I used to think it was wings. I thought it was angel wings for a long time.
So when he got that, he moved somewhere, and there was always these white owls, all in, like, the trees and shit. And so before every fight, there would always be, like, this owl that would be, like, on his, like, driveway or, like, a tree really close to him. And before the Merab fight, there was a dead owl on his driveway, and he said that he felt like it was, like, destined for him to lose that fight. And he said that he saw the white owl.
Bro, you know shit like that's gonna get me thinking for the next 2 days, and that's gonna end up selling me on Sean. Like, that alone.
So that's my first little thing. As stupid as that might sound,
yeah,
you guys.
exactly. But that's very interesting.
And
for spiritual believers type shit, that's a very interesting story.
And what I was gonna say before, back to, like, some actual stats, is Sean was only taken down 6 times by MERAB in their first fight. And that was a
control time.
I'm not sure actually.
I'm interested to see that.
And another thing is, what's MERAB good at? Cardio, wearing you down. Sean O'Malley won the 5th round. Sean O'Malley was landing the bigger shots in the 5th round. Sean O'Malley, if you had a minute, might have dropped MERAB in that last minute. The control time was 10 minutes to 0 seconds.
Okay, so 2 rounds.
Yeah. So Sean just needs to get better at getting up because he's defending the takedowns actually pretty solidly. Petr Yan took down Sean O'Malley 7 times in 15 minutes. MERAB only took him down 6 times in 25 minutes. So it's actually pretty valid. I think that this fight could actually go to a decision and lean Sean O'Malley's way. That first fight, as lopsided as it was, 2 judges had it 48-47 for MERAB, and that's just because it's Sean O'Malley. Imagine if it's an actual close fight, they're going to Petr Yan it. They're going to give it to Sean O'Malley. The UFC wants Sean O'Malley to have that belt. That's 100%. The only reason he's getting gifted this opportunity.
100%.
I'm going to take Sean O'Malley to win this fight.
Dana is in shambles if Sean loses this fight, respectfully.
Yeah, I'm taking Sean O'Malley by decision. That might be a fucking hottest take ever. Taking Sean O'Malley by decision. Also, there's a valid early KO there. I think that he can build off of the things that he learned off of the last 30 seconds of that last fight. The body shot hurts MERAB. Go to the body. Tire out MERAB. How about we try to tire out MERAB? Because Sean O'Malley was the busier guy in the 5th round.
Yeah. He needed to be, though. If I'm justifying why MERAB lost that round, was he not up like 3-1? 4-0 arguably to a point, like
yeah, but not to the judges.
MERAB's just fucking around, like to a point. Yeah, I know what you're saying, but
he got hurt though.
Yeah, he did. No, he did. I know exactly what you're talking about. I can see it. So yeah, it's gonna be very interesting, man. I hope Sean gets it done. I would love to see him at the top, but
yeah. And to make any of my points any like valid-ish more, I don't like Sean O'Malley. I am not a
because of what he did to Bellator.
I'm not a Sean O'Malley fan. I think that he's been gifted every single opportunity he has in the UFC. I'm not saying that he's a shit fighter. His knockout over Aljamain is very impressive. A little bit of an early stoppage. But cherry picks your title defense against Chito Vera. Again, like, should he really be fighting for the belt again? Why is Petr Yan not? I don't fucking know. Instead he gets Marcus McGee.
Instead he gets Marcus McGee. What are we doing?
Lino, what does the UFC have against Petr Yan?
What are we doing?
Why can we not set up Corey Sandhagen versus...
Because they need Sean, bro. That's what they have against them. Because he's a roadblock for Sean, like, respectfully. We know this. Go watch the first fight again. Like, if you're high on Sean, go watch that first fight video. Again.
Split?
You split?
Split?
He's like, oh, no. With Islam in the back. Like, oh, man. That's Khabib. Just saying, like, yeah, you can say doggy this, doggy that, whatever. MERAB's not a doggy, but, I mean, yeah.
So we're splitting on the main and co-main?
I don't want MERAB to win. I low-key think he's going to win.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, main and co-main.
Yeah.
Give me Juliana fucking Pena, bro. To the bank and back. Type shit.
I'm going Sean. He's going MERAB. I got Kayla. He's got Pena. So one's got a favorite. One's got a dog.
And still.
Alrighty. And that'll do it for our full card UFC 316 breakdown. Again, thank you to Prime for sending us this fridge. And we will be back next weekend to break down Usman versus Joaquin Buckley. Deuces.